Hi, I'm going to try to describe the difference between the Freedom of Information Act, Freedom of Information Request, and Open Records Request. There are three different things. The Freedom of Information Act was established in '67 and provide the public the right to request access to records from any federal agency. The states have taken much of the language from the Freedom of Information Act and applied it to their local public information requests and open records requests. The difference between the Freedom of Information request and the open records request is Freedom of Information request is for federal agencies, and the open request form is for your state, county, local, city, and town governments. You need to know, the most important thing is you need to know the agency you're requesting the information from, who may be the custodian of that information and have it available for you to receive. Now, each state has their own set of laws and freedom of information and also the open records requests. I suggest through my research, it's a great site, it's called the National Freedom of Information Coalition, nfoic.org. Again, the National Freedom of Information Coalition. They have each state's freedom of information laws and open records requests. They have the laws, and they also have sample letters you can use as a template for your own. Both the requests are basically the same. The difference is the agency that you're requesting it from. Also, save yourself some time and money by see if the information that you're looking for or interested in is already available publicly. You can go to your library, you can go to the city, you can go on the internet. You know, there's a lot of resources, YouTube. The government bodies are not required to answer questions, perform legal research, or comply with a continuing request to supply information on a periodic basis as such information is prepared in the future. The Public Information Act prohibits the government body from asking you why you want the information you have requested. The government body may, however, ask you to clarify your request if they are uncertain as to what you want, and they may discuss with you how the scope of your request may be narrowed if you ever requested a large amount of information. For example, if you want the body cams from the city of Austin for the year 2017, that's going to be a large compilation of information and take quite some time and also be costly. None of the Freedom of Information Act or the Open Records Act are free. Now, there are waivers, and you can go do some research on that. But any of these requests, whether it's a Freedom of Information request or an Open Records request, are both the same. It's just the differences in the agencies and who you send it to. So what I do is I write a letter, and I started out, by putting it who it's to and dating it. And then my first paragraph says, I write to request access to and a copy of any and all, and I am very specific, body camera recordings by SBPD on Saturday 7/7/2018 from the hours of approximately 8:13 to approximately 9:30 p.m. in and around the intersection of Bowie and Rose in San Benito, including but not exclusive to Officer blank of the San Benito PD during the time stated above. Then my next line is I'm verifying the correct agency. My next line would say, if your agency does not maintain these public records, please let me know who does and include the proper custodian's name and address. They need to provide it to the best of their abilities. The other thing you want to do as part of the body of your letter is put in a fee limit. Enter a dollar amount for the amount of fees you're willing to pay. The agency will be told to notify you if the amount will exceed this. If you set the amount up front, the agency will begin to process your request and you can retain some control over the ultimate amount you have to pay. For example, in looking up Texas law, Texas Administrative Code Title 1, Part 3, Chapter 70, Section 16, fee for obtaining copy of body-worn camera recording. The charge for obtaining a copy of a body-worn camera shall be $10 per recording responsive to the request and $1 per full minute of the body-worn camera. So if it's 5 minutes, video that you're looking for is going to be $15. If it's an hour, it's going to be $70, the $60 per minute and the $10 fee. So those are some things you need to think about. If it's in writing, in Texas, standard paper copy is 10 cents a page, and it means both sides if they do a double-sided. But each state is going to be different. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be. This is not written in stone. I'm just sharing with you the information that I have and that works for me. There also is a time to respond by these governmental agencies, and each state is different. So this is how I worded my letter. As provided by the Open Records Law, I will expect a response within 10 days. 20 days if my request requires substantial programming or manipulation of data. See Texas Government Code Annex Sections 552.221D and 231C. If you believe this information is not public, I ask that you immediately notify me and then seek a formal decision from the Texas Attorney General no later than 10 calendar days from a receipt of this request as required by the Open Records Law. See Section 552.31. They may withhold your information, so I address that in the letter. If you choose to deny this request, please provide a written explanation for the denial, including a reference to the specific statutory exemptions upon which you rely. Also, please provide all segregable portions of otherwise exempt material. In other words, they can provide me a paper copy of a report, but they can't provide me the video, and they're sending it up to the Attorney General. So at least they'll give me some of it. Also, you need to let them know that there are violations. My next paragraph would say, I would note that violation of the Open Records Law can result in a fine up to $1,000, imprisonment of up to 6 months, or both. See Texas Government Code Annex Section 552.353E. Litigation costs and reasonable attorney fees may also be assessed against you. See Section 552.323. At the end of the letter, I put my name, my mailing address, and I sign it. Sometimes I put my email or my phone number depending on the agency. Once you finish a letter, address the envelope appropriately, and there are different ways of doing it. You may be able to do it in a web form, an email, or a fax, but not all government agencies accept electronic copies. Example, the City of Austin, Texas Police Department requires you to set up an account for an electronic request, which means all of your information and your email and everything like that. So it's up to you how much information you want to give to the government agency. If you do not want to do it electronically, you make a hard copy and you can deliver it in person. If you go in person, bring 2 copies, have them sign and date one, keep and retain that for your records, and give them the other. If you go by the post office, the USPS, it's suggested to use registered mail so you have proof of the date it was received. After this is made, they should promptly produce public information response. It means that a government body may take a reasonable amount of time to produce the information, which varies depending on the facts in each case. The amount of information requested is highly relevant to what makes for a reasonable response time. And there is a process if they decide to withhold. Like I said before, generally it goes to the Attorney General of the state you live in. Um, they, it's required that if it's going to go to the, going to be withheld, it goes to the Attorney General within 10 business days. And they send a request and state the exemptions to disclosure and that it believes are acceptable. The government body must also send you a copy of the letter to the Attorney General requesting a decision within 10 days. If the governmental body does not notify you of its request for an Attorney General decision within this 10-day business day window, the information requested is generally presumed to be open to the public. So it's not going to be withheld because of a determination by the Attorney General. Within 15 days of receiving your request, the governmental body of the Attorney General starts the process. Just be warned that they do need to send you a letter. When the general issues, the Attorney General in Texas has a disclaimer on their website that it says it generally issues its decision within 45 days, business days of receipt of the request for the decision. Then it needs to go back to the agency or government entity you requested it from. So it doesn't happen overnight, but if they are not wanting to withhold any information you requested, you don't have to worry about waiting that long. So that's all I've got. If you want this in a hard copy, I do have it in a Word document, and I'd be happy to email it to you. Go to my channel or about, and it has my email address. Send me an email. I'll be happy to fulfill your request. Thank you very much. I hope this helped, and just remember there are differences between a FOIA request and an open records request. I hope this gave everybody more information. I learned a lot. Thank you.